All right, we're going to talk some about illegal immigration, not my favorite subject, but unfortunately a big story. Joining me now is Katie Pavlich, townhall.com editor, Fox News contributor, and Pam Bondi, former Florida Attorney General and America First Justice and Law Co-Chair. Ladies, thank you very much for coming on. Pam Bondi, I'll go to you first. Stories are circulating. Hundreds of millions of dollars are going to help illegal immigrants fight deportation. These left-wing groups, they're pro-illegal immigrants. But the other thing is, Pam, that part of Biden's own policies is instead of stopping at the border, remain in Mexico, building a wall, Title 42, they're allocating money in the omnibus bill to help the illegals who got in the first place. I mean, it's not only just giving it to bad groups, they're giving it to the government policy. So what do you make of this?
Yeah, and people need to understand these are your tax dollars at work by the federal government currently and what's happening. And I can think of a lot of better ways, many better ways to allocate that money, many prudent ways. How about helping the human trafficking victims who are being smuggled into this country? How about all the drugs that have come into this country, Larry? The drug addict, you know how many rehab programs we need in this country? That money, and this could be upwards of almost $1 billion when it's all said and done. A lot of this money is coming from HHS, and people need to remember this is helping illegal aliens stay in this country. You can't make this stuff up. It's unbelievable. That money could go for so many more things to help Americans and to help our children who are drug addicted because of these illegal people coming across our border.
You know, Katie Pavlich, I don't know, do you know much about these left-wing groups? You've got a whole industry of groups, I guess, trying to either promote illegal immigrants or help them when they get here. Do you know who these groups are?
Yep. Yeah, there are a number of groups that call themselves religious NGOs that are doing charity work to help the downtrodden who are seeking asylum. They say that they're entitled to asylum. They have the backing of a number of Democrats on Capitol Hill, including today, AOC and a number of very far-left Democrats holding a rally saying asylum is a right. Well, asylum fraud is not a right, and the federal government is funding these NGOs with taxpayer dollars to continue essentially the trafficking ring. They get them to the border, and these NGOs pick them up, and the federal government gives them money. They buy a bus ticket, plane ticket, and they send them all over the country. And while they're spending money on things like that, they are suing states like Arizona and requiring they take down makeshift border walls because the federal government refuses to deal with that. States like Texas and Arizona have repeatedly asked for reimbursement from the federal government for the costs that illegal immigration has bestowed among their state budgets that they have to balance. And finally, this comes at a cost to all these communities. Yuma right now is stuck with a $20 million hospital bill that is unpaid because of the overflow of illegal immigration into that hospital. And that is happening in cities all across the country, both in the border states and, of course, in New York City, where Mayor Adams has been trying to get the federal government to do something to stop this as well. But instead, they're enabling it, and they're using your money to do it.
See, that's the thing, Pam. Just one more on this before we go on, but enabling. These are like incentives to come over. Now, I am in favor of reforms for legal immigration. That's always been my position. But this is, Katie used the term enabling, and I think that's right. It's like creating incentives for them to come over. And the other thing is, Pam, if you could give us a quick, what are the Bidens doing about Title 42 replacement, which, as you both know, I think, it still is a public health issue. It may not be a COVID issue, but it's still a major public health issue with all these illegals. So what are they doing there?
Yeah, and first, they're enabling and they're encouraging more people to come across the border illegally. And, why they're not following through with Title 42 is beyond me. It is an emergency in our country. Just talk to any residents of Arizona, of Texas, of any border states, and you'll find that out. And again, all of these children, ask any of the parents of these kids who are getting drug addicted whether they think it's a public health emergency. Certainly it is. And I do not know why they're not putting America first and Americans first.
Katie Pavlich, can I switch gears with you and have some fun? I'm looking at a whole bunch of polls. We love to look at polls. I don't know what they mean. So Donald Trump is now back on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I guess he's going to stay on his own thing, Truth Social, but no one's so clear about that. So that's one point I want to know what you make of it. This is just fun. The other thing is, Katie, his polls actually are going up versus Republicans in a potential primary, and even Joe Biden. What do you make of that, Katie Pavlich?
Well, first on him being reinstated on Facebook and recently on Twitter as well, I thought hell froze over last night when the ACLU actually came out to defend his reinstatement on Facebook, given how far left and anti-Constitution and anti-Bill of Rights they have become. But when it comes to President Trump, look, he's the only declared Republican candidate at this point. The more that comes out about the federal government and the things they've been doing behind the scenes to undercut the rights of the American people, I think the more they look at Donald Trump's record and taking on a government abuse and shaking up the system in Washington, D.C., they think that maybe that's something they want back, especially when it comes to the issue of illegal immigration, as we were just talking about. The worse it gets, the more they look at his policies and see that they worked, because the Biden administration has reversed everything for the sake of reversing Trump policies rather than looking at what works.
Pam Bondi, you and I are associated with America First. We're not here to endorse. That's the deal. I'm just observing. This is an empirical discussion we're having, Pam Bondi. It is interesting that he's now going on, free speech, so that's good. And his popularity seems to be improving. I'll give you the last word.
Absolutely, Larry. And I think the reason Facebook let him back on is they saw what happened to Twitter, and they saw what was coming out, and they know what they have to hide and what could happen with Section 230. It's a very big deal, what they've done. And President Trump's popularity is soaring right now because of Trump policies from when he was president. And he's got the track record to show what he can do to fix our country.
All right. We will leave it there, ladies. You're both terrific. Katie Pavlich and Pam Bondi, thank you ever so much.
Thanks, Larry.